Hey, so this is Audacity. It looks like an old school app, but a lot of people um, who are professionals use this still, even though the visuals aren't the greatest. But this is version 2.3.3. Basic common use controls. This is to make sure 2 channels, recording off my mic, and that should be good. Let me give this some space to breathe a little more. There we go. So basic use of, like you probably already know, recording. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2. Press stop, press play, and I'll hear it back. So you probably don't hear it back, but let's see if I could actually oh, this is the output. Laptop. Here we go. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2. Okay, so now pretend this is your entire podcast from beginning to end. When you click and hover, it's what you're highlighting. See how it changes color? That's how you pretty much like select the item that you're working with. So let's say around here is where I officially close out my guest or close out, and I accidentally left it on and it's still recording. How do I cut this part out? So quite simply, you just take this, hover, highlight, and then see the scissors thing, cut, and it's gone. So now you have that gone. So I'm going to trim this. There's like some intro stuff I don't like. I'm going to cut this out too. And boom. Now, let's say you're done with the podcast and you want to give like an intro, what you're going to be covering in this podcast, blah, 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 blah. Stay tuned. And then you have the music come in. I'm going to click record again. In this episode, 1234 joins us for block 123 XYZ. Stay tuned and stick around to learn more. Now, how do I get this in front of this? Well, there's different ways you could do it. I like adding a new track. And then I copy. All right, let's see. You can cut. And I'm going to paste it now. Paste. And now it's there. But obviously, now you have 2 pieces on here competing. Test 1 2, test 1 2. In this episode, 1 2 3. So you definitely don't want that. So how do you move it around? Take this, highlight what you want. See this guy right here? Time shift tool. Click on that. And then I get to drag it right about here. But notice this dead space here. I'm probably going to I could cut that out and then bring it up again. So let's do that. Oops. Let me undo. Undo cut. So let's undo this selection. Actually. So this is right here controls what I'm doing right here. So because I got this cursor icon, I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to cut it. Go back to this. Move it over. Notice that time I didn't really have to highlight. I just do it. Go back to this. And now I got my intro plus my podcast. And then if I wanted to add music to the outro, I can let's see, insert. Where was it? You can actually drag and drop from your file manager. So you have a MP3 here. You can just kind of click and drag it, and boom, it adds another layer. So now, so if you have that music intro, you just place it there. You have it here. You have your intro. You have your podcast, and boom. So there's my intro. I'm gonna select this, move it, and this is how you get, yeah, boom. This is my podcast. Move that out, and now is if you have trouble with the window size, there's a view to zoom in and zoom out. There's a shortcut to Control-3 for on the Mac. It might be like the Mac button and the minus sign or something, but you can just click out here, zoom out. So it can be easier to do some long, if it's a long episode. So there's my song. So I got me saying, oh, welcome to the episode, blah, 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 blah. Cuts the music. I can move this now. And then I can minimize this even if I wanted to, so I can see better. Because some people layer like a bunch of stuff. So that's why they have like this way to minimize. But for basic podcast editing, you're fine with this. So I click on the second where I want to start.
In this episode, 1234 joins us for Bach 123 XYZ. Stay tuned and stick around to learn more.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
So this is, pretend this was music, and then this is the actual podcast. So that's really it. You got the cursor sign to select what you want to select. When you're ready to cut something, you use the cursor sign to select, cut, and then, you can actually repaste things that you cut. So that's pretty cool. That's really the gist of it. If you do this, you have you're a podcast editor. If you know how to do this, there's some things you can do. Let's say if you're too low on one part, you could highlight one part, amplify, and then you can kind of find out what level you want to amplify it. I guess you have to allow clipping, I guess. And then you can amplify it, and then boom. Obviously, that's like too crazy. But undo amplify. So any mistake you make, you can undo it. So you don't have to be afraid of it. Now, once you're done, export to MP3. Well, I would save it as a project first, just in case you want to you forgot something, you want to re-record it. Save it as a project, so you have a Audacity file, and then export it as MP3 as your final file where you want to push to iTunes, whatever. So, yeah. Let me know how this works. I guess as a bonus tip, if you want the music to fade out, here's how you do that. Effect, and then fade out. And then you can add more layers of fade out. And then it'll automatically.
Stick around to learn more.
See how it drops off? See how it drops off there? Anyways, I am 99.9% sure you can figure this out. Watch this over and over again. There's YouTube tutorials too, but I think I gave you like 90%, if not everything you'll ever need on this, for a podcast. And I think you can do this. It's always a learning curve, but I think you got it.